Hi there. Well, I am really excited by the engine that I'm going to share with you today. This is a MkIII Mark III. Now, it's a two-stroke spark ignition engine. Now, this engine was developed by Edgar Westbury, and initially in 1933 he built a 15cc version of this, and then over the decade he developed it and he reduced the size, and in 1947 he produced this 6cc version, and he produced the 6cc so that it fit in with the current competition rules at the time. He also published a book on how to construct or build this engine, how to do the machining with all the measurements, and a set of detailed plans, because essentially this was designed as a kind of a home build engine, and it still is. You can still buy the raw castings and the materials, the book and the plans to build this engine, and I'll leave a link in the description below to a website that is selling these items. Now, I was given this recently, and it's just so excited when I received it. It was built by somebody who is highly skilled. You can see the machining. It's got huge compression, lovely smooth bearings. Now, at the moment it's set up as a glow engine. It's got a glow plug in the top, and even though it's got the control on the front for the spark ignition, it hasn't actually got the contacts, and that isn't set up properly. But I think the the person who built this was just trying it out as glow, because I've got some of the components needed to actually finish off the spark ignition contacts for the front. So anyway, it's time to take a closer look, I think. So as I said, Edgar Westbury published this book, a new 6cc engine for model aircraft, and it really is an interesting book to read. The construction methods and the dimensions of how to make this engine from essentially a kit, and like I say, it's very detailed and a really interesting read. And to accompany that, there is a set of plans which I won't fully unfold, but you can see all of the details there that's needed for the construction. And this engine I've got has been constructed exceptionally well. It is really nice. Now, he's made a few adaptations to the original design, and it's interesting because in the book I was reading just today, where it's sort of towards the beginning of the book, and Edgar Westbury is saying that it's okay to modify it and he expects people to make slight changes, and the person who built this has certainly done that. He's put a pericarb on the back here. Originally it would have just had a needle valve, a venturi and a needle valve there, so get a little bit of throttle control maybe. Hopefully that will work okay. Now we can see there's a glow plug in the top here, and an adapter from a larger spark plug. It fits a Champion #1 spark plug, but he's obviously been running this on glow, probably got this far and wanted to try it out, make sure that it worked okay. And you can see the control here, or what should be the control for the spark ignition. There's a set of contacts there, but we haven't got the top contacts and the adjustment lever. But I have got a box of bits with a lot of that stuff in there from the construction, so hopefully I can pull together the contacts for this, because I would love to actually run it as a spark ignition engine. Now, first of all, I'm going to get this in the test stand and run it on some glow fuel. I'm going to use this 11x6 prop that came with the engine, and just see how it runs and make sure that it does run nicely. And then once I've done that, we'll have a go at getting this spark ignition set up, because ultimately it is a spark ignition 2-stroke engine. Well, hopefully now you can see why I am so excited to be given this engine, and not only because it's just a lovely looking 6cc spark ignition engine from the 1940s, or origins from the 30s, but also because the machining and the quality of the build is just absolutely lovely. So there's only one thing left to do now. I'm going to go and set the test stand up and see how this thing runs. Like I said, on glow, and I'm going to be using some glow fuel, which is about 8%, I think, nitro. So I'll go and get set up and see if we can get this thing running. Right, well, I think we're all set up, although I realised I hadn't screwed the exhaust on. I say the exhaust, it's just a tube to get the gases away from the or the oil and the gases, I suppose, away from the engine, or the model if you've got it in a model. Right, now let's throttle open or closed. Let's do it open. Let's draw the fuel through. God, that's wet, and I'll close that halfway to start with. Oh, so the throttle's still open, yep. I do worry if the fuel is a little bit high in the tank compared to the intake, but I can't really. Well, it's sounding good. I think I'm just going to move the tank slightly lower down, just slightly concerned the fuel is feeding through. Took it too low. I was just seeing how low I could take it then. Well, that is running lovely, and I think the tank position, lowering it down, seemed to make all the difference. I was getting the feeling that it was starting to choke itself out a little bit with fuel siphoning into the engine, but that ran really nice. And it's quite warm. We'll let it cool down. But what were we? We were about 7,000 RPM, I think. I can't remember actually. And the tick over, it was happiest around 4,000 RPM, but it throttled absolutely lovely. Right, let's have another quick run. Well, I can get it lower, but I just with a better lever it'll stay running, I think. But didn't that start absolutely lovely? So let's choke it again. As with all engines, it's just getting to know them. Is the throttle open? Oh no, it's closed. There we go. Right, one more, and so seems to like starting about 3/4 open, couple of chokes there, and hopefully this will now go on the first flick, but probably won't. Excellent, really excellent. Well, that ran absolutely flawlessly. I just love it, and it's a testament to the guy who built this and his sort of skill, engineering skill. I mean, the compression is just so strong, the bearings are so smooth. It started really easily. It ran lovely and steady. Over 8,000 RPM at one point. I think it was happier around 7,500 RPM. The pericarb performed lovely. It was set up just right, and it throttles really nice. And we were getting quite a nice idle at 3,500 RPM, that kind of ballpark. If you took it lower than that, it would idle for a bit at 3,300, but I think it was kind of struggling a little bit there, perhaps. I just think you wouldn't expect any more from an engine like this, really. And I mean, running it on glow fuel, I mean, I'm doing that because that's how he'd got it set up, and you're going to get higher RPM, I think, than when we get this set up for spark ignition. And that is the next job, to finish off doing the spark ignition contacts, or to get them set up anyway, and see how that runs, because I would love to get this into a model It's just a lovely classic engine. But if I do, or when I do, it's gonna have to be spark ignition and not glow, I think. So anyway, I have really enjoyed seeing this lovely engine running, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing it as well. Thanks very much for watching.